Shalom, shalom. On the start of this video, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone that rule well, teach well, while learn his truth 100% according to the Bible. I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophet servants, scattered abroad the four corners of the earth, and shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you few sisters out there that are sincere, your children, shalom. And in today's video, as you can see, is going to be building off of this article that I got here. And as you can see from the title, it says, for Utah's digital ID program, OpenID recommends proven open standards. All right, so now you basically got Utah bringing in their digital ID system, which we know ultimately soon come that, hey, this is going to be all throughout America. You see this digital ID where ultimately it's going to be mandatory that you have to receive this thing in order to work and various other different things. And we already see this going on in the UK, where you actually had the Prime Minister, right, Keir Starmer, where he actually told his citizens, the people in Britain, that if they wanted to be able to work and all of those things in the very near future, that they're ultimately going to have to receive this digital ID, which we know that those same unrighteous decrees and draconian measures are coming here to Babylon and Great America as well, man. Because ultimately what we see happening is the stage being set for what's to come, which is the MOTB microchip, right? And we're seeing these devils do these things through gradualism, right? Actually, when you go into that word, right, on the AI overview, it means a policy of gradual reform rather than sudden change or revolution. And that's what we see them doing. They're bringing in this MOTB system, but they're doing it in like baby steps, you know. They're not just full swing coming in with it, you see, because ultimately it's not on their time. And when this chip is going to come out, it's all the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And everything is ultimately going according to prophecy. But everything that we see these devils setting in place is all leading to the end result, which is the RFID CHIP, you see, the MOTB. Right. That's why, as it tells us right here in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, I'm going to read verse 11. It says, lest Satan, right, meaning our adversary, that's Esau, Edom, should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, right? That devices goes into his schemes, his tricks, his plots, you know, his manipulation tactics, everything that ultimately this man uses ultimately to deceive or to manipulate or to, you know, get the upper hand over us. We're not ignorant of these things because ultimately we know what the end goal of all of these things is that this man is setting up. We know that it is all leading to, you know, this RFID microchip being made mandatory because we know the prophecies, you see. So we know what everything eventually is going to allude and lead towards, you see. So we're not ignorant of this devil's device, right? So I'm going to get into the article and we're actually going to read some of it, right? So bear with me while I pull it back up. And we're just going to read a little bit on down, right? Just so we can get an understanding of what it is that the article is saying, right? And it says, privacy and tolerability shows up as key considerations in Utah Spruce ID checklist, right? It says the OpenID Foundation has weighed in on Utah's state-endorsed digital identity, or SEDI, program with the reply, right? With the reply to the state's request for information, or RFI, that emphasizes proven standards and tolerability with the financial sector, open testing, and privacy by design. The OpenID Foundation, right, recognizes that the state of Utah is a thought leader on both privacy and digital identity, and we applaud their proactive approach to ensure protections for individuals are in place, says a statement from Executive Director of the OpenID Foundation, Gail Hodges, right? So we see what it is these devils are doing, right? That's why the scriptures tells us in Psalms 55, I'm going to grab that, right? And we're going to start at verse 21. I'm going to get straight to the point, right? It says, the words of his mouth, right, talking about Esau, were smoother than butter, right? But war was in his heart. His words were salted in oil, yet were they drawn swords. And that's exactly what we see this devil doing, man. Because on the end, he's telling people that, you know, basically we're giving them this digital ID so that they can ultimately protect their information. And then this is going to be used for them to ultimately to keep their stuff more secured. Oh, yeah, they're going to dress it up real nicely to get people to take it. You see, and ultimately to, you know, start using this system. But ultimately, like I said, all of this is all alluding to the MOTB. So guess what? If the people take this, which this digital ID is not the charagma, but hey, you're going to have a lot of people taking this, right? And just like they're going to be deceived ultimately to receive this and to believe the things that this devil is giving them about this digital ID and how it's going to be better for him, hey, he's going to do the same thing when he makes this chip mandatory, and people are going to believe it as well. Right? That's why you're going to have so many people that's going to take this thing, man, because they're going to believe the words of this devil. Right? But as it says, I'm going to read it again. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Right? His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, because this devil speaks with a forked tongue. So at the end of the day, though it may look like he's trying to help you, in reality, this devil's trying to ultimately put you in a trap, a snare. You see? But I'm going to actually grab this precept right here as well, because like I said, everything that we see happening is ultimately alluding to what's coming down the pipeline, which is this RFID microchip, you know. So I'm going to grab Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, for the vision, which are the prophecies, is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, right? And we're definitely at the time of the end. And not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And guess what? We're definitely in the time of season where Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not allowing these prophecies to tarry, where we're basically seeing things come to life, man. We see that everything that these devils are setting up is ultimately what's about to bring in this chip. We see it clear as day, man. You see, you really just got to be blind to not see what's coming, you know? But hey, this is what everything is leading to. I'm going to grab Revelations 13 to 16. It says, and he, right, talking about Esau, Edom, man, right, cause of all, because this is going to come upon all the world. That's why you got all of these different countries all going digital. They're all bringing about this digital ID system to their countries. All of them are going in the digital direction of cryptocurrency, digital payments, as far as money-wise and all of that. All of these countries are doing it. Because guess what? Everybody's going to be subscribed to this MOTB system. Everybody is going to have this up and running in their countries, man. This is going to be a worldwide thing. So it says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, which is the charagma, in their right hand or in their foreheads. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So eventually, everything that we see these devils doing, you see, with bringing in these digital ID systems and things like that, is ultimately all going to lead to this coming to pass, this prophecy, right? And it's coming soon, you know? So with that being said, Lord's willing, I pray this lesson be edifying, just something quick through the spirit. To the next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect. Shalom.